Hello, students. So, in biology, let's start our new chapter today, that is human body circulatory system. So, the circulatory system is comprises of blood, blood vessels, and the heart. So, these are the three major parts in circulatory system, and it is responsible for transporting materials. What materials? Nutrients, hormones, and even oxygen to all the body cells. Not only that, it also transport waste products as well, that is carbon dioxide and urea, away from our body. So what happens in it? See, this is the heart. So this heart pumps blood throughout the body, which passes with the help of blood vessels. We will read about different blood vessels as well, or we also call it tubes. So they are the tubes through which the blood flows from and to the heart, means from heart to all parts of the body and from all parts of the body to the heart. Now let's read about blood first. So what is blood? So blood is a red colored fluid, thick fluid that carries nutrients, respiratory gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen, and some other substances also, that is hormones or some proteins or other nutrients. So human blood is composed of two components. They are plasma and blood cells. Let's read about plasma first. So plasma is straw colored fluid in which different blood cells are suspended. So this straw colored means pale yellow colored, light yellow. And even 92% of the volume of this plasma is water, and the remaining 8% contains other substances, that is proteins, glucose, mineral ions, and hormones. Next is blood cells. So there are mainly three types of cells that are suspended in blood plasma. They are what? They are red blood cells. They are also called erythrocytes. Next, white blood cells, or we call it leukocytes. And the next is platelets or thrombocytes. So, all the cellular components of the blood float in the plasma. Let's read about red blood cells first, means erythrocytes. So, these red colored blood cells are present in the plasma, and mature red blood cells are biconcave in shape. So biconcave means like this. The middle portion is quite pressed. And even they do not have nucleus, very important. So, so where are they produced? They are produced in the bone marrow. And do you know why its color is red? Because of the presence of red colored iron containing pigment named hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is responsible for the red color of these red blood cells. So this hemoglobin help in transportation of oxygen. These hemoglobins are the proteins that combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. So when it combines, so this hemoglobin when combines with oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin, which is carried from lungs to all the cells in our body. Now let's read about white blood cells, also called leukocytes. So these white blood cells are colorless and are fewer in number. So in our blood there are more number of red blood cells than white blood cells. But white blood cells are larger in size as compared to red blood cells. Even white blood cells are not biconcave in shape like red blood cells. White blood cells are irregular in shape, means they have no shape. They are irregular and have one to many lobe nuclei. So it contains nuclei. Where they are produced? They are produced in the lymph nodes, spleen, and tonsils. Now let's read about its function. So white blood cells defend the body against harmful foreign bodies such as bacteria, viruses, etc. Means they protect our body from these invading germs. They even produce chemicals called antibodies to destroy these foreign bodies. So as I've already told that these white blood cells are irregular in shape. So they just squeeze out through the capillary wall. Suppose this is the capillary wall and these are white blood cells. So they just squeeze out from the walls of these capillaries and reach the site of infection. And there they destroy the germs by engulfing and digesting them. Next is platelets, also called thrombocytes. So these are also formed of special bone marrow cells and they are irregular in shape just like WBC. In mammals, platelets lack a nucleus just like red blood cells, and they are the smallest blood cells and are the least abundant in blood. Means the less amount of platelets are present in blood. Next, what is its major function? Its major role in healing wounds. When a part of the body is wounded, the blood vessels get ruptured and the blood oozes out of it. So, in order to prevent that excess loss of blood, platelets gather around the wound and initiate the process of blood clotting. So, platelets help in clotting of the blood, which prevent further loss of blood from the wound. Now just imagine if there would be no platelets in our blood, then what would happen when we got any kind of cuts and all? So the people may die because of the excess bleeding if there won't be any platelets in the blood. Our next topic is blood groups. So human body can be classified into 4 different blood groups. What are they? They are A, B, O and AB. Now the question is based on what are they classified into such groups? So they are classified based on the special type of protein called antigen that are present on the red blood cells. So these antigens are actually named as antigen A, antigen B. Suppose this is a red blood cell which is biconcave in shape. Then here, suppose these are the antigens and this is an A antigen. So we can say that a person with antigen A on their RBC has blood group A because antigen A is present. In the same manner, if the person having antigen B, suppose on their RBC, then we can call it blood group B. Now suppose if there are no antigen on the red blood cells, then we can call that blood as group O, blood group O. Okay, so a person with blood group O does not possess any antigen, so no antigen is present on its surface, and we also call it universal donor. Why universal donor? Because this person can donate blood to a person of any blood group, and if the red blood cell contain both the antigen, that is A and B both, then we call it blood group AB. Blood group AB. So a person with blood group AB has both the antigens, that is called A and B, and is called universal recipient. What is universal recipient? Means this person can receive blood from a person of any blood group. Now let's read the main functions of blood. So first, we already know that it helps in transportation of oxygen and other nutrients to every cell in the body. Not only that, it also transport metabolic waste to excretory organs. For example, the carbon dioxide is transport to the lungs. Next, urea from the liver to the kidney, it is transported for excretion. Even blood also carry different enzymes and hormones to its proper site where they can function. It also maintain a constant body temperature, even maintain the water and salt balance in the body. We have already read about WBC and platelets that destroy the disease causing microorganism, and platelets help in the formation in clotting of blood so that there won't be any blood loss. Next is blood vessels. So what are blood vessels? They are a network of hollow tubes present throughout the body and through which the blood flows. So they are of three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. So arteries are muscular, they are thick walled and elastic vessel with narrow cavities. So here you can see the image of an artery. So see, this is the narrow cavity through which the blood flows and it is thick walled. What is its function? It mainly carry oxygenated blood from where? From heart to different body parts. So mainly we know that arteries carry oxygenated blood from heart to different body parts, but there is an exception. That is what? Pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery does what? It carries deoxygenated blood. From where? From heart to the lungs. That's why, as it is related to the lungs, that's why we call it pulmonary arteries. Can you name the largest artery in our body? It is aorta. And the smaller arteries are called arterioles. So this is an artery which form which branches and form capillary. Next is veins. So here this blue one is vein. So they are thin walled. As you can see, this one, it is very thin, but artery is quite thick. But their cavity is quite wider than this artery. They also transport blood to the heart from different body parts. So they mainly carry deoxygenated blood from different body parts to the heart. And even veins transport blood at a low pressure compared to arteries. Why? Because we know that heart pumps blood with quite force. So there is a high pressure in the arteries. So as because vein transport blood at low pressure, they have valves at regular intervals which prevent the backflow of blood. So this is the valve which is closed and this is open valve. There is another exception. So as we know that veins mainly carry deoxygenated blood from different body parts to the heart. But in this case also there is pulmonary vein. So this pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. So the largest vein in the body are superior and inferior vena cava, and the smaller vein in the body are called venules. In this picture you can see how this arterioles, that is the smaller artery, and these venules unite together to form a network called capillaries. Next is capillaries. So capillaries I've already told, arterioles and the venules just unite together and form the capillary. So it is extremely narrow blood vessels that form the networks around what? Around organs and tissues of the body. And their walls are made up of only a single layer of cell. Why? So that exchange of substance can take place. So these capillaries are supplied with blood by arterioles, as arterioles means the artery and then the arterioles transport nutrients and other essential substances as well as oxygen to different organs and tissues. And in return, the waste or other substances are excreted or drained by the venules through veins to out of the body with the help of different excretory organs. So this capillaries also permit exchange of gases, nutrients, waste between the blood and the cells in the body. So here students can see some differences between arteries, veins and capillaries are written. So they will write it in their copy and will learn it. Questions will be asked in the next live class. And on the next day, we will read about the structure of the heart.